Jake sat on the creaky wooden porch of a secluded cabin, the forest sprawling endlessly before him in a tapestry of greens and browns. The air was crisp, scented with pine and earth, and the distant chirping of birds blended with the rustle of leaves in the autumn breeze. At 28, Jake was a graphic designer whose life had hit a stagnant plateau. Days blurred into weeks of uninspired work, and he felt a gnawing emptiness he couldn't shake. In his hand, he held a small plastic bag containing a few grams of dried psilocybin mushrooms, their gnarled, earthy forms looking both mundane and mysterious. He'd rented this cabin in the woods for a weekend escape, craving solitude and a chance to hit reset. Friends had raved about mushrooms, how they could spark creativity, reveal hidden truths, or even change your perspective on life. After months of research and hesitation, Jake decided this was the moment. The isolation of the forest felt like the perfect setting. No distractions, just him, nature, and whatever the mushrooms had in store. Inside the cabin, he prepared meticulously. He swept the dusty floors, arranged a nest of blankets and pillows on the couch, and set up a small Bluetooth speaker to play ambient forest sounds, trickling streams and soft wind, to ease his nerves. The mushrooms, 2.5 grams weighed out on a tiny kitchen scale, sat on the counter. He'd read this was a moderate dose for a beginner, enough to dip his toes into the psychedelic waters without diving too deep. With a mix of excitement and apprehension, he chopped them finely, stirred them into a mug of chamomile tea, and let them steep. The earthy aroma filled the room as he sipped the bitter brew, grimacing slightly but determined to see it through. For the first half-hour, Jake felt nothing but the faint hum of anticipation. He paced the cabin, glancing out the window at the towering trees, wondering if he'd miscalculated the dose or if the mushrooms were duds. Then, subtly, the world began to shift. The wooden walls took on a warm, golden glow, and the grain patterns seemed to ripple like water. He ran his fingers over the armrest of the couch, marveling at how the fabric felt alive, pulsing faintly under his touch. A grin spread across his face as a wave of euphoria bubbled up from his chest. Colors intensified, the green of his sweater vibrated, the orange flicker of a candle danced with newfound vigor. He turned off the speaker, drawn instead to the natural symphony outside. Stepping onto the porch, the grass beneath his bare feet felt impossibly soft, each blade a tiny universe of texture and life. The forest beckoned, and he wandered into it, barefoot and wide-eyed. Time worked. Minutes stretched into eternities, then snapped back into fleeting seconds. The trees loomed taller, their branches swaying as if breathing in sync with him. He trailed his hand along rough bark, feeling its grooves pulse like a heartbeat. Patterns emerged everywhere, spirals in the leaves, fractals in the clouds peeking through the canopy. Lying on a bed of moss, he stared upward, and the forest seemed to cradle him, whispering secrets he couldn't yet decipher. As dusk fell, the sky erupted into a canvas of purples and blues, stars blinking into existence with a brilliance he'd never noticed before. They shimmered, pulsed, and formed fleeting constellations that hinted at hidden meanings. Jake settled onto a grassy clearing, gazing skyward as night deepened. The mushrooms were in full command now, and reality felt elastic, dreamlike. The stars weren't just lights, they danced, trailing threads of silver and gold. A warmth spread through his body, countered by a shiver of awe as the universe seemed to unfold before him. Then a new sensation prickled his awareness, a presence subtle yet undeniable. He scanned the clearing, seeing only shadows and trees, but the feeling grew stronger, as if the air itself was watching him. Closing his eyes, he sank deeper into the sensation, and a faint hum filled his mind, not a sound, but a vibration. It coalesced into a voice, soft and melodic, speaking in tones that bypassed words yet carried meaning. "Don't be afraid. it said, soothing and ancient. Jake's breath caught. He opened his eyes, and there, above the treetops, a brilliant light hovered, not a star, but something alive, pulsating with colors he couldn't name. It descended slowly, and as it neared, it fractured into forms, beings of pure energy, their outlines fluid, shimmering like liquid light. They radiated a calm that washed over him, dissolving any trace of fear. "Who are you?" Jake whispered, his voice trembling with wonder. "We are travelers," one replied, its voice echoing in his skull, layered and resonant. "We move through the spaces beyond your perception, drawn by the call of open minds." Their forms shifted, now humanoid, now abstract, never settling, yet their presence felt wise, timeless. Jake sat up, heart pounding. "Are you real?" "Reality is a spectrum," another being answered, its tone gentle. "You see us because your mind has stretched beyond its usual bounds. We are as real as your thoughts, your dreams." Jake's curiosity surged. "Why are you here? Why me?" "You sought us," the first being said. "Your consciousness, altered by the Earth's gift, reached out. We answered." He blinked, dazed. The mushrooms, he hadn't realized they could do this. What can you tell me?" he asked, voice eager. The beings pulsed brighter. "Ask and we will share." Jake's mind buzzed with questions, each vying for attention. He settled on one that had haunted him for years. What's the point of all this? Life, the universe, why does it exist? The beings shimmered, their light softening. "Existence is a symphony of becoming," one said. "It is not about a single purpose, but about the interplay of all things. You, the stars, the smallest insect, all are threads in a vast weave, growing, learning, connecting." "So there's no one answer?" Jake pressed. "There are many," another replied. "Your purpose is yours to shape, to explore, to feel, to create. The universe delights in diversity, in the dance of countless perspectives." Jake nodded slowly, letting that sink in. "What about out there?" He gestured skyward. "Is there life beyond Earth?" A sound like chiming bells rippled through the air, their laughter. "The cosmos is alive with it," they said. "Beings of matter, of energy, of forms you cannot yet fathom. Some walk as you do, others drift as thoughts across the void." His eyes widened. "Have you seen them?" "We do not see as you do," one explained. "We are present across all planes, touching countless realities at once. Distance and time are illusions we do not obey." Jake's head spun. He'd pictured aliens in ships, but these beings were something else, beyond physicality, beyond comprehension. "Can I reach you again?" he asked. "Without the mushrooms?" "It is possible," they said. "Your mind is a bridge. Strengthen it through stillness, through intent. The silence within holds the key." He frowned, unsure. "Meditation?" "Yes," they affirmed. "And trust. You are more than your body, more than this moment." The words struck deep, stirring something in Jake he couldn't name. "What's the universe really like?" he ventured. "It is infinite and finite, chaos and order," one replied. "A tapestry of energy, woven by consciousness. You are both observer and creator, a spark within the whole." The profundity overwhelmed him, yet it felt true, like a memory he'd forgotten. The beings glowed brighter. "Our time here wanes," they said. "Carry this with you. You are never alone. All is connected." "Wait," Jake called as their light began to fade. "Will I see you again?" "When you are ready," they whispered, voices trailing into silence. The light ascended, shrinking to a pinpoint, then vanishing among the stars. Jake lay back, breathless, staring at the now quiet sky. The mushroom's grip loosened, colors softening, time steadying. The forest resumed its familiar shape, though it felt different, imbued with a subtle magic. His mind churned, replaying the encounter. Had it been real? A hallucination? The distinction blurred, but the impact lingered. He rose, legs shaky, and trudged back to the cabin. The air was cool against his skin, grounding him as the high faded. Inside, he sank onto the couch, the candle's flicker now ordinary but comforting. Awe battled confusion in his chest. The alien's words about connection, consciousness, creation echoed, challenging everything he'd assumed about reality. Grabbing his journal, he scribbled furiously, capturing every detail: the light, the beings, their wisdom. His hand shook, not from fear, but from the weight of revelation. He wrote until his eyes drooped, exhaustion tugging him toward sleep. As he drifted off, he felt a quiet certainty. This was a beginning, not an end. Morning arrived with birdsong and golden light spilling through the cabin windows. Jake stepped outside, the forest aglow with dew-kissed leaves. The experience clung to him like a second skin, reshaping how he saw the world. The trees weren't just trees. They were alive, part of the same vast web the aliens described. Packing his bag, he felt lighter, unburdened. The burnout that had driven him here seemed distant, replaced by a spark of purpose. He didn't have all the answers, but he had questions, big, beautiful ones, and a hunger to explore them. On the drive home, he called his friend Jamie. "Man, I've got a story for you," he said, voice buzzing with excitement. He recounted it all: the mushrooms, the high, the aliens, sparing no detail. Jamie listened, rapt. "That's wild," Jamie said when Jake finished. "You think it was real?" Jake paused, glancing at the road ahead. "I don't know, but it felt real, and it changed something in me." "Like what?" "I want to keep going," Jake said. "Meditate, learn, see where this takes me. Maybe even write about it." Jamie chuckled. "Sounds like a plan, dude. I'm here if you need a sounding board." "Thanks," Jake said, smiling. As he hung up, the horizon stretched wide before him, a blank page brimming with possibility. The aliens might return, or they might not. Either way, Jake knew one thing: his journey had just begun.